Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of What's New at IBM. I'm your host, as always, PJ Haggerty, and today we are bringing back Ryan Yackel, the GTM leader for data integration. But we're talking about something a little different this time. Ryan, tell us a little bit about what's going on with IBM and Astronomer.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks to be back. Love the show, man. It's gonna be going crazy on YouTube. I know. I already know it. It's gonna
Absolutely,
be
we're
taking
blowing up.
off.
We're blowing up.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm really excited to talk about another part of data integration and kind of rounding out our portfolio around an OEM partnership or an OEM product that we have called Astronomer with IBM. And so back in March, we announced this. Astronomer is the top managed airflow provider in the space. They do it for cloud and for private instances as well. So if you have like a private cluster you want to put or an on-prem environment, we're using Apache Airflow on premise. Astronomer's the go-to for that for hybrid environments where there's on-prem, cloud, or even hybrid. So we have a new product, OEM product called Astronomer with IBM. And it's essentially a way for us to talk to our customers that are in enterprises that use Airflow. We know all of our customers are probably, or some pockets of those of our customers are using some sort of Airflow because we know that Airflow is the most popular data pipeline tool out there today. It's got something crazy. I think it's like 30 million downloads monthly that data engineering, data platform teams are using. And so we wanted to have an OEM product to bring this to market with our customers. So really, really awesome. I know that if you are using Airflow today and you're struggling with a lot of things we'll talk about here in a minute, Astronomer with IBM is going to be a great solution for you. So again, had that announcement back in March, and now we're going to market, already having conversations with customers right now today about it.
That's fantastic. And I know that's very exciting because, like you said, so many people are using Airflow, but Airflow is not always the easiest thing in the world to
Yeah.
use. Uh, a lot of times when people are talking about Airflow, they're talking about data ops, which is kind of a newish term. Like I think last time we talked about like secure ops, data ops, observability, DevOps, but this is specifically for data ops. So like what exactly is data ops, and why would like an enterprise customer need Astronomer with IBM if they already have Airflow? Is it just ease of use, or is there more to it?
Yeah, there's more to it. Yeah. So, I mean, I would say, one of the things that, data ops is very similar to having a discussion around DevOps, right? DevOps, developer and operations, kind of bringing those two things together. It was all about basically solving the problems of you have a bunch of developers do stuff, and then it goes to operations and things blow up in production. So let's bring those together. Let's have a way to continuous release things and so on. So if you think about what data ops is, it's data operations essentially is what that is. And a lot of the same DevOps principles around collaboration, integration, automation, all the things that revolve around getting stuff to market fast, but also in a controlled way with governance, quality, observability, integration, all that kind of wrapped together. That's essentially what data ops is. It's basically improving through collaboration, integration, and automation for all your data management processes. So a lot of teams today, they'll be like, hey, we need to make sure that we have our ingestion process created correctly. We need to make sure when we're deploying data pipelines, that's done in a maintainable way. When we're doing data quality in motion, we want to make sure we're catching issues before those happen. So data ops is kind of like a term that would encapsulate a lot of those things. But again, getting back to it's really around collaboration, integration, and automation of a lot of those processes. One of the things that Astronomer talks about this too, their CEO talked about this in a podcast recently. I thought I'd bring it up today. But he talks about in the modern data stack, there was this evolving of this, what we call the compute layer, which is like data warehouses using GPUs or data lakes or using that. And then the data ops layer that they say kind of sits on top of that, that's above the compute layer. So Airflow and where Airflow fits into that, as we're kind of circling back to where does Airflow fit in this data ops process? Airflow is that orchestration layer for all your different data pipelines, and obviously you're using Airflow to do that. And so, if why that's so important in a data ops process is that if your orchestration layer breaks, especially with AI and ML and all the data that's flowing in your organization today, if that breaks, you're in a real bad spot, right? You're in a really bad position. So with Astronomer with IBM, what that does is it goes, okay, you have data ops practices in your organization today. You have Airflow, one of the most popular open source data pipeline tools out there today. let us help you kind of scale those data operations within that orchestration layer, which is Airflow, across all your across your entire enterprise with Astronomer with IBM. And so Astronomer with IBM, it comes with a lot of things that you may not think about, but enterprises need. So like if you're a small team and you're using Airflow, maybe you want to use it in the cloud. Maybe the Astro version for Astronomer could be a great solution for you. If you're a large organization, you've got multiple teams, you've got multiple instances of Airflow everywhere, you've got different private clusters everywhere. This is where Astronomer with IBM is really going to help. The first thing is around the enterprise security, right? So this is all about role-based access controls, being able to have deployment roles and customer managed workload identities, basically to establish those fine-grained permissions about like who gets access to what. We have customers today that have multiple Airflow instances that people don't want to have other access to in the organization today, even not just internally but also outside, right? So how can we put in that?
Right.
Adding things like enterprise SSO, all the standard stuff that enterprise would want, controlling these Airflow environments. The other one is around operational efficiency. So Astronomer is also one of the main contributors to the Apache Airflow project, and they recently came out with
Awesome.
Airflow. Yeah, they're the best out there, and they just recently came out with Airflow 3.0. Right, so the Apache community came out with Airflow 3.0. What that means is there's going to be a lot of people that are, if they're managing their open source Airflow today on version 1, 2, 2.7, whatever it is, they're going to want to upgrade to 3. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, it's going to require a lot of deployment upgrades to their Airflow environments. And you want to have things like being able to restore functionality within those Airflow upgrades if you have something like that. Rollback issues if you have a deployment problem with Airflow, being able to do that. And then overriding accidental errors to prevent data loss. That's another thing that comes in for maintaining this operational integrity part. And that's all around the operational efficiency, right? So again, think about it. If you have tons of different Airflow environments, you don't want to have to manually go in and upgrade them. Third thing is visibility and reporting. So again, you're going to have all the different data pipelines and metadata and issues across in a single dashboard. You're going to have that. Managing and scaling. This is another part where if you want to integrate to a CI/CD platform to programmatically deploy your Airflow environments, that's another way that Astronomer with IBM can help. And then the last part is Astronomer with IBM is something that is deployed in a private environment or hybrid environment behind your own your enterprise posture, right? So what that means is that if you don't have observability baked in to your Airflow environments, you can use IBM Databand, which is part of our data integration suite, to tie into that Airflow environment. So again, we work with all versions of Airflow. So if you have an observability for anything revolving around data pipeline issues, data durations, data schema changes, things like that are all part of your Airflow or Astronomer deployment, we can tie into that and we can give you direct continuous data observability and data quality alongside your Astronomer with IBM deployment.
Which is very cool, because I think that the concern people have is sometimes when you're going with an open source solution like Apache Airflow, you're like, am I on my own? And we're kind of saying, no, you're not. We have so many tools. There's Astronomer with IBM, there's Databand that helps keep you everything, kind of together, encapsulated in a way that makes sense and makes it easier for large organizations.
Yeah. And I was going to say too, we also have customers that having Airflow part of their environment is not an either or in other data integration tools. Like I think I read something recently that was something like the average number of data integration tools is around like 5 to 7 per enterprise. It could even be upwards of that. So we have customers that are using Data Stage and Stream Sets and Python jobs and Airflow. I mean, they're all using them all together. And a lot of times these kind of just spur up in a groundswell of just people just grabbing them, starting to use them. So again, what's great is like you can use Astronomer with IBM alongside of other IBM products that you may have or open source products you may have. It doesn't replace anything. It just upgrades your Airflow posture.
Awesome. That's awesome. And of course, the modern question, especially you're wearing a Watson X t-shirt. How does AI and ML, how do those workflows kind of play into Airflow adoption?
Yeah, so I mean, the big thing that Airflow has been predominantly used for, if you look at the Astronomer does a state of Airflow report, I think every year, and they just came out with one recently. And initially Airflow was primarily used for dashboards or internal dashboard, internal products, things like that in an organization. Now what they're seeing is around people that have like around 5 years experience using Airflow, around 35% of them are using Airflow now for AI and ML data pipeline jobs. And so as you scale, into your AI and ML world and your initiatives that you're doing, Airflow is becoming like a de facto data pipeline tool to use for that, an orchestration layer for that. Again, Airflow had primarily been used for ETL and ELT, and now it's kind of moving into that. Also, Airflow is being used, if you look at that State of Airflow report as well, is that I think around 85% of people using Airflow today are looking to use it for more revenue generating products that are out there. So not just your internal, we're just going to push data into this internal BI dashboard. It's more, how can we use Airflow pipelines, Airflow orchestration to then build these ML AI products and get more revenue into our business today.
Because in the end, that's what it's about, generating revenue. That's what
Every
enterprise wants to do.
That's kind of a big deal. Yeah, I think you can.
We live in a society. But in all seriousness, the big question, what do we think we can expect from Astronomer with IBM in the future? Like, what's coming up?
Yeah, so I mean, since we're an OEM product of Astronomer software, anything that they do, any changes they make to their enterprise solution for Astronomer, we're going to be able to have that available for our customers today. And so we're getting the word out now. Again, we had the partnership in March. We're having conversations with our customers now. We just did a joint blog with them that we talked about just an example of an enterprise bank using Astronomer with IBM and how they moved from an Airflow, traditional just open source Airflow environment to this Astronomer with IBM OEM product. So that's another good resource that we can link maybe at YouTube and link to in the blog that highlight that. But yeah, anything that relates to the enhancements they're doing on their end, we'll be able to pull that in and offer that to our customers as well. And Astronomer, they've been in this Airflow game for a long time now, and they're one of the hottest companies out there in the Airflow space to maximize the use of that across your enterprise environment.
Cool. I mean, I'm excited. I'm a big open source person. I followed the Airflow story for a while. I knew about Astronomer, so I'm excited that we're partnering up and doing something together to really help people out.
Yeah.
Ryan, thank you as always. I think that we're going to actually see you in another couple of weeks because I think we've got another one scheduled for some, we won't say yet, some other information. We'll just say we'll see you again in
June. More coming out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for everyone who's listening, thank you so much. And we'll see you next time on What's New.